Alright, listener, good day once again. We are going to do one interesting video as usual. This is going to be a simple application. What this application does is this. We are going to write a code. We are majorly focusing on using CSS, HTML and JavaScript. So what this application will do for us, we are going to write a code. The application or the code will function in such a way that whenever users enter the age or the year they were born, it will return how old they are. It's more or less like an age calculator, okay? Age calculator. Just enter your age, it will tell you the year you were born, it will tell you, give you your age. It can as well calculate the number of days you have spent here on earth, okay? So very quickly, I want us to delve straight to that project. Let's see how it works. Now, what we're going to do is this. Now, look at this project. We have been able to create a folder, and inside this our folder, we have a file which I call what index.html. Okay, so we have a file called index.html inside our folder called HCalculator, and we have a file called index.html. First, we need to give it a title. Let's call it a HCalculator. Okay, this way. Okay, now before the closure of the head tag, we need to also create a link. Let's link our CSS. Okay, because we are going to be using CSS. I will say style sheet. Then we'll have a href. Okay, we'll use a href. Okay, we'll now say style.css. okay, that is okay. Now we'll create this style.css file later on. Now in our body tag, I'm going to give a space here. I'm going to come here and create one tag called h3. That's a header tag. I'm going to call this one HCalculator. Okay, HCalculator, and inside this HCalculator here, we have a div here. Immediately after the HCalculator header tag close, I will create a div, and this div will have a class, and I will call this class. Remember, we'll be using a flex. Okay, in my CSS, I will call it a flex bus container. Let me call it a flex bus flex bus 1. Okay, because we may be creating another project. So we have this one here. Now inside this div, we're going to create another div, and I will create a class with a class name. Okay, container. Okay, container 1. Okay, I'll close this div again. Now here we successfully created two div. Okay, the first div is the parent div, and the second div is also what the child div. Okay, now we are going to work with this. All right, now if we are making do with this, alternatively I will suggest, okay, if it's okay, we have a container div 1, and we also have another container div 2. So you can come and say in this place that inside this div, yeah, I will create a button. Okay, let's create a button, and inside this button I will say, we will say, okay, check your age. Okay, now we are going to come inside this, or give it a class. Okay, let's call it a class of first class. Okay, this is our first class we are creating for this project so far. And after that, we'll have what? On click. Let's create on click. Let's have an on click function here. We'll call it age. Let's call it HCalculator. Let's call it HCalculator. So if we are calling it HCalculator, it's not, but I want the name to be uniform. Okay, if the names are uniform, it will be HCalculator. Okay, this is our function on click function list name. Now we are going to save it here. Now that we have saved this one, I will come here immediately. This one, I will leave this one here. I will create another div here. This div, I will leave it here for now. I'm not working on it for now, so I'm going to leave this div here for now. Okay, now what I will do, let's go to our CSS and do a small styling. Okay, come to our file here, create new, click a file. Now we'll come and create one style file, style sheet file, and this style sheet will enable us to what? We will come here and say save it as what? Style.css. that is the name we'll call it, remember. Okay, now in our CSS, let's go and do something interesting here. What we are going to do here, remember we have a container name called what? Container 1. Okay, let me just put dash here. Okay, like this. Okay, we have container 1. We also have our flexbox 1. Okay, so first let's go and style this container 1. Okay, first and foremost, I can come here and say container, sorry, I can come here and create a div. I give it a class. Okay, I will give it the same class name, just like this. Okay, and I'm going to close it here. And if I close it here, then this one now become the main parent div, which will be closed here. Okay, so we are going to close it here. Good, now we save. Now in my CSS, I'm going to bring it here. First and foremost, we are going to do something simple. Come and call it, copy this our container 1 class name. Copy this name. Let's style it here, and I say dot container 1. Okay, what we are going to do there, let's give it what? A margin. Margin, let's say 0 up and all around. Okay, both left, bottom, and right. Let's give it width of how many pixels? Let's say 75%. Then after that, we'll have a test align. So let it be centered. Okay, then we'll have justify content. Justify content will not say space around. Okay, now let's save this code and come to our HTML and launch it. Okay, let's launch it in a live server. Okay, if we are launching this on a live server, let's see how it looks like. Okay, we are seeing it here. There is error here. If you look at very well, our h tag h3 is not properly closed. See, what I have here is 3h, supposed to be h3. Sorry for that. Okay, if we come here now and refresh our code, we should be able to get a good result. Okay, you see h calculator, this one say click me. Okay, now let's come back to our code. In our CSS, let's continue our styling. Now what I want to do here now, we are going to come and say, okay, our flexbox 1 here, which is this flexbox 1, we are going to style it. Now in this place, we are going to come and say, okay, let's give it what? A border of 1 pixels solid ash. Let's give it this black. Okay, then we'll come again, we say display. We want this thing to display flex. Okay, and also we'll give it a padding of 10 pixels, and we'll come again and say flex wrap. We should wrap it for us. Let's say flex wrap, we should wrap it. Okay, now lastly, what I want us to do is this. We are going to save this code as it is. We'll come here, refresh. You see, we have been able to create a border here. Good. Now let's continue. In our code, next thing I want us to do is this. Remember, we have what is it called? We have a button there. Okay, we have a button. Now in our button here, we give it a name. What is the name? We call it first class. Okay, we are going to come here in our button, which I call first class as class name. Now we are going to style this button as a background. Let's give it a background color of blue. Okay, Then we'll give it a border of how many? Border left radius. No, we don't want to do that. Let's say border. Okay, it's not bad. Let's just work with this. Border left radius. Okay, border left radius. Let's say 12 pieces. Okay, border right radius. Border right. Border right radius of also 12 pieces. Okay, border left radius 12 pieces, border right radius, border bottom left radius, so give you 12 pieces, and also border bottom right. We have got what? Border bottom left, border bottom right radius, also give it 12 pieces. Okay, now after that, what else do we need to do here? I will come here and say border none. What we mean by that is this. If I run this code, let's see how it looks like. I seen it, border button less, border button, and it doesn't look fine to me. If I come here, I can say okay, color should be white. Okay, I will say font weight, let's give it a 500. Okay, let's refresh and see. Okay, good, we are having something like this. Check your age. Okay, as our button. And again, let's do something. Let's give it a cursor. Let's say cursor should be what? Pointer, so that at every point over this thing it should be able to point. Okay, good. Now next thing I want us to do is this. We've successfully done that. Why don't we give it a height? Small HEI. Let's give it a height of let's say 35 pixels. Okay, let's give it a height of 35 pixels, and with this we are good to go. Okay, right, fine, this is fine. Now what next do we need to do? Let's work on our what? Flex, the first container, which is this, because inside this flex, which we declare here flex, there is a div. Look at it. Okay, so what I want to do here now is to come here and say okay, immediately this, after this flex, let's call what? A div as attribute name. Okay, are you getting me? Sorry, this one. Okay, call it like this. Now we'll now come here and say okay, give it a padding of 12 pixels. Then also align item should be aligned in center. Okay, so that when we come here, let's refresh. Good, see, it has aligned this item to be what? In center. Now next thing we want us to do here is this, because we need a result. Okay, if you come back here, anytime we calculate the div, we want this div to actually what? Give us what? A result. So anytime we calculate the age, we want this age to what? Give us what? A result. So what we're going to do, this div that I define here, I'm going to give it the same class here, so that we're not going to be styling over and over again. Let it have the same class name, and inside this div we are going to create another div, and this div we have what? A class name, which I call what? I call this class name, sorry, I call this class name, I will call it a result. Okay, we are going to work with this. I'm going to copy this class name. Okay, because if you look at it, alternatively we have successfully what? Created two div. You see, there's another div here too. Okay, are you getting me? Now what we are going to do before we move further, I'm going to come here, let's come here, copy this result class. We'll copy this result class. Let's go back to our CSS and see how we can style this result so that we can be able to get our results. Because at every point in time that we are searching or calculating our age, it should be able to display the result for us. So what we're going to do here now is a result. Okay, we'll come here and give it a border. Okay, say border, let it be what? 2 pixels solid black too. Let's give us black. Okay, that one is not bad. Now and again, do we need width? Let's just come here and leave it that way for now and refresh. Good, we are seeing something here now. Are you getting it? Good. Now what about if we come here alternatively by saying, okay, since we have gotten this one now, what about this order or attribute? Okay, we are going to do something here. Okay, let me come here and say, okay, give me a value from this angle. Okay, give me a value from this angle, so that at every point in time we can calculate this value inside our JavaScript. Okay, so we successfully created this one, right? Now what else do we need to do now? Come here, pick this div here. Okay, because the first div, look at it, it ended here. Okay, the second div also, what, this is the parent div, this is the parent div, this is the second div, this is also a child div, this is also what, a child div. We have two child div inside this div. Okay, now since we have these two child div, I'm going to create another div here. What div will do for us is going to make sure that this result that we have here, okay, let it be inside immediately after this second div here. Okay, let it be immediately after this second div. We are creating this div here. That is our result. Now I'm going to duplicate this button, because at every point in time we should be able to, after calculating, we should be able to remove. Okay, clear, I'll call it a clear data. Clear data. Okay, you should be able to clear data. Okay, so we'll have that to clear our what data, and that I'm going to call it a reset. Okay, I'm going to call it a reset. That is our function name. Remember, by the time we go to JavaScript, we'll be using this onClick function to write our what query. Okay, or write our code. Now that we've been able to do that, what next do we need to do? Let's refresh this. Good, we have gotten something like this. Okay, now we have two buttons there now, right? One is what, clear, one is what, remove. Okay, so let's use to do something. Now this what is it called, clear, we are going to style it. Okay, and I call it a second button, second class. Okay, because it's the second class we are having in a button, and go there. Now we'll come here. Since it's second class, I'll give it what, background. Let it have a background color of how many? Let's say background color, let it be red. Okay, then we have a border. I will say none. Border should be what? None. Border should be none. And we'll have height. Height should be let me say the other one. How many heights do we give it? Let's say height should be what, 35 pixels. Then lastly we have color. The color should be what? White. Okay, now let's refresh and see. Good, these are the two buttons. Okay, these two buttons now are what we'll be using now for our what, query, to check and also to what, clear. Okay, now that we've been able to do that, why don't we come here? That's okay. Second thing we need to do here, this code, this button we are seeing here, we are going to work on it. Okay, because it's not supposed to just be there, because this one will be our result. Our result will be displaying here. Okay, now that we have this as our result, which I call in our JavaScript, we'll call it what, result. Okay, if possible, I can come and give it width of let's say 50%. Okay, that's our result. Okay, look at it here. Okay, alternatively, I can say, okay, let it have the same width that this whole div got. The whole div gets 75% width. Okay, I can come here and also give it a 75%. Okay, let it just have it that way. Okay, not bad. It's not bad. Then I will come here, give it a height. give it a height of 40 pixels, and this width you increase it to what, 90 is okay. Now refresh. Good. This is where the result should be what displaying. We have it this way. If possible, make the div, make it the width 100%. Okay, fine. It's not bad this way. Now what we're going to do here now is this. I'm going to come here and create a JavaScript file. Come here, new, create a new file. Fine, create a JavaScript file here. Then we'll come and say open. Now what the JavaScript file is going to do for us, we will be using it for what? Our buttons. We're going to tweak our buttons, all these buttons that you are seeing here. We're going to tweak it in our code here. Yes, all this button you are seeing, button 1, button 2, first class and second class. We are going to use it, okay, so that we will be able to use it to do our code and give us our expected result like we want. Now I want to save it save it as what? Script, you know, it's already JS, so no need to put .js. That is one good thing about Visual Studio. It's very, very powerful. Now let's move to our JavaScript. What we are going to do here is this. I'm going to call a function. Remember, our function name that time was what? Come to our HTML. Our function name is called hcalculate. Pick it here, put it here, hcalculate, put it here, and also because we are creating a function, hit enter. Now that we have done that, let's let's use a let keywords. Let birthday or birthday let birthday or birth year. Let's start from the year because we want to take the year you were born. Oh, that's okay. Since we are using birth year, I'm going to use what they call prompt. Okay, prompt is a function in JavaScript. We are going to use prompt function. So this prompt function will ask a question. What year were you born? What year were you born? Okay, it's a question. What year were you born? Okay, we'll now say enter it here. Okay, that is what it should crop up. Okay, now after that, next thing we want to do here, okay, I will come here and ask, okay, define another variable. Say let we have defined a birth year. Okay, we're now going to say, okay, let age. Okay, this is your year. Okay, we are going to define a current year. Let current year be equals to, let's say today's, we are now in 2023. We are now okay minus this birthday. You should minus this birthday. Okay, I'm going to zoom this code so that you can see it from wherever you are. Okay, I'm going to zoom all my code, please. It's zoom already so that you can see it. Now we are going to say, okay, 2023 minus the age that the user is going to enter, which will be prompt up. Okay, so we are going to say, okay, after that, next we want to do now is, okay, define a variable. We want to append let's use a h4 is equals to document. Okay, document dot create. We are creating a element. Let's create element. Okay, document dot create element, and the element that we are creating, if you don't know what creating element does, we advise you to watch my previous video. You see how and detailed explanation that was given there. So we are creating elements here, which is called h4. Okay, so what this h4 will do for us, at every point that data will be displayed, to display it in what, in h4 font size. Okay, I will now define another variable which I will call a text answer or test result. Let's use test result is equals to document dot create another what. Let's create a test node because we are going to use something like that. Create test node. Okay, we are going to create a test node. using a text node function, which will display a text. Okay, this one will display a text, and the text will tell you that the message should be you has spent, or you have spent, okay, that is one, because we are using JavaScript. I'm going to use plus keywords to concatenate two words to screen the two screen. You have spent the age year, okay. You have spent this current year, okay. You have spent this current year, okay. We are now concatenating a plus using another word. Alternatively, you are let's say you are this age, you are so age year old, okay. You are so year, you are this year old year, okay. This is what we want, okay. I will come here. Now, next thing that we have been able to do here is this. Now we are saying that h4 dot set attribute. We are setting attribute here, and the attribute we are setting here, we want to say, okay, let's work with ID. Okay, let's use ID attribute. We have been making use of classes, and the ID attribute we are going to use, let's say the ID attribute should be what? H calculator. That is our what? ID attribute, for instance. Now we are making use of that as our attribute that we are setting. Then we'll now say h4 dot append child. Okay, my previous video also explained what append child does. We are going to say, okay, get me all these child. Okay, we are appending child to this what? Element test result. Okay, we want to append it here. At every point in time that it creates a test node, it should append the result to this data. Okay, now lastly, we can now say document, okay, document dot get element by ID. And what is that ID? Remember, in our HTML, what is our ID? Look at it. Okay, we have ID called what? Is it not? We have ID called what? Result. Let's call this one ID. Let's give it ID. Okay, so if that is ID, now I will come to my CSS where we have result before. I will change this one out to what? Hashtag. Okay, because that is how you can call ID attribute. So since we are calling an ID now as our data, which is called result, I will now come here and say, okay, put hashtag here, okay, and call our ID like this. Okay, sorry, call our ID like this. Okay, let's do it this way. And also, okay, after we have called the ID, append, we are appending a child, and that child we are appending is what? H4. I think with this we are good to go. Let's go and look at our code gently. Now if we come here, we define a function which I call age calculator. We define a let keywords, say get me the year you were born, prompt this message. Okay, once the message is prompt, and also we define a use a let keyword to get the current year, which is 2023, minus the age, the year that the user is what entering. Now we define a variable called var h4. We say, okay, document or create element, create h4 element, and also we define a variable called test result. We say equals to document or create test node, which will create a test at every point in time that user entered a current year. Okay, so we are now getting this one as, okay, set the attribute, set an attribute here called ID, and we'll set the ID to what? H calculator. We are now appending h4 to this test result that will be displayed at every point in time. Now let's say document or get element by result, and this result is what we are defining here. The result will be shown here. Okay, now that we have done that, we'll now say, okay, append the child, which is h4. If we run this code, remember we have not linked our script. I'm going to come here and link our script at the bottom of our what, immediately after our what, before the closure of what, body tag. We are going to close our script here, and I say sroc, and I say script dot what, js. That is our script. We have linked our script. Okay, if I come here now and refresh this page, good. If I click this man, what happened? Good, it pop up. You say, what year were you born? Okay, if I come here and say I was born 1988 and click here, good, you say you are 35 years old. Now let's make the test where, let's see, look where. Okay, our code is working. Now I'm going to come here, you are 35 years old. Okay, space this code here so that we can have a space here. Now I'm going to come here again, I'm going to refresh this code. That's okay, check your age, and that's okay. I'm born 1975, sorry, 1975. Check, you are 48 years old. Okay, now you see it's getting us our result just like we what expected. It's giving us what our result. You see what this application does? It gives us exactly the year. All you need to do, just say check your age, enter your age, 1988, say okay, check, it gives you your age. Okay, now if you notice, if I come again and check 1978 and click, it keep showing different age. I'll come here and say okay, 1590 whatever, click here, age keeps showing. But we want to work on this button so that we can clear the age, then enter another what age. After you have searched your age, you can clear it, then enter another age. I think that will be better. Instead of showing all this year, we don't want user to be refreshing the page like this. No, we want user to just come here, click clear data. All the years that are what searched previously will be clear. Then you can now search for what another what new year or age. If you clear, it will show up. Now, how can we do that? To achieve that, let's come back to our button. Okay, let's come back to our button, and our button here, which is clearing this data, we will call it what reset. Remember, in our code here, if you come to our HTML, we have a data here which I call what reset. Look at it here. We are going to work on this reset. This is going to be just few lines of code. I'm come here, I'm going to define a function. I say function reset, sorry, then come here, reset. Now we are going to work with this code here to reset every data that we are what displaying. Now to get that done, remember we have what ID, which is called what age calculator. Okay, I will now come here and ask okay, document dot get element by ID, and the ID is this age calculator. We'll ask okay, dot remove. JavaScript has a function called what remove. Okay, this one will now remove and clear the data for us. Okay, with this we can be able to what remove that what data at every point in time. So what we do here now, let's come back to our application, refresh, calculate your age, 1988, calculate. If I say clear, it clears it. Are you seeing it? If I come here, calculate another age, calculate another age, calculate another age, whatever age you want to calculate, just calculate it. Then we can come here and say clear, clear, clear. You see, it cleared the whole data one after the other. So this is the simple application I want us to develop. Now let's work on this title. Is at the corner. We don't want it that way. If you come to our HTML, you see that we have we declare what a tag here. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to come here, let me put it inside this div. Okay, put it inside this div so that it will be able to come here. I think it's better here now. So alternatively we can come here, let's style it because it's h3, come to our CSS, and the parent div is called what, container1. Okay, since it's called container1, come to our CSS and come here, say h3. Okay, now when I say test, give it a color. Let's say color should be navy. Let's say font size should be, sorry, font size should be, let's say 20 pixels. Let's say font width should be what, should be bold. Should be bold. Okay, then when we run this code, you see it, that's what we are getting. All right, so far so good. We have been able to do that, and this button that is clearing this data, let's work on it too. If you come to the button which is called which I call second class Yes, it's what I call second class. I'll give it a cursor. Let's give it a cursor. The cursor should be what? Pointer. Okay, I will say border. Okay, let's just, if we want the border to look the same thing with this one, all we need to do is just copy all the attributes that we have here. Okay, except the color. Okay, except that of the color, except the background color. We just come here and give it this one. Okay, so when we come here now, refresh this code, you see it's having this color, but we don't want it to be navy. Okay, background color should be what? Should be red. Okay, so when we refresh it, that is the color we want. Okay, so this is the application that we have successfully developed. You can calculate your age here. As you just calculate, hit enter, give you your age. You are 45 years old. So if you were born 1955, by now you should be what? 68 years old. You can clear this data and calculate another one. If you are born in 1978, you should be what? 45 years old. And if you are born in 1956, you should be what? 67 years old. You can clear this data. Okay, so far so good. This is the simple application I want us to what? Develop. Initially I told you that in the course of my introduction that we are going to develop a simple age calculator, and we've been able to what? Achieve that. We will use a CSS, we use a JavaScript, and we use a HTML. And this is the simple style that we just used, a few styling where we just used. All we did is just to style the div and style our button. Okay, and make sure that this application is also what? Is also responsive. If you look at it now, it's both what? Compatible with mobile what? View. Okay, that is why we are using what? Flex. Okay, you see the power of Flex. Okay, this is what Flex does. Okay, so we've been able to do that. Thank you for your time. I remain your friend Joshua. I urge you to subscribe to my channel. Feel free to like this video, comment, and share this video. Thank you. Thank you.